Welcome to my week 9 homework. Um, Let me share my screen here. So here we go. This is my week 9 um, financial data analytics homework. So first I gave ChatGPT the link to our class website so it could understand what the instructions were for my assignment this week. And then I asked for a flowchart or steps that would be necessary to complete it. So step one, define the problem objectives, and then processing, um, blah blah blah, so on and so forth. So now I'm going to go ahead and walk you through what my project did. I used k-means clustering to analyze similarities between stocks in the S&P 500. This project follows the guidelines outlined in the course. So let's go ahead and dive in. The first step of our project was to collect um, stock data from WRDS, specifically from the WRDS CRSP dataset. We retrieved stock return volatility, trading volume, market cap, which are all key indicators of financial performance. After that, we cleaned the data and handled any missing values and standardized it using standard scalar to ensure fair clustering. You can see up here all the downloads of and uses of different programs in Python. So to find, in part two, or excuse me, um, the next part was um, you're frozen for some reason. The next part was using um, groups, and to do this, I implemented k-means clustering. But first, we need to determine the optimal number of clusters using the elbow method, which suggested that k was equal to 5 was the best choice. And then we applied k-means and used PCA, which is principal component analysis, to reduce the data set to 2 dimensions uh, for better visualization. And then third, we interpreted the results. Once we got our clusters, we analyzed their characteristics. Using Yahoo Finance, we fetched sector classifications for each stock to compare how well our clusters aligned with traditional industries. We visualized this with a heat map, helping us to see whether stocks grouped together in the same sector. We also calculated risk-adjusted returns to identify clusters with the best investment potential. Once we got our clusters, we analyzed their characteristics using Yahoo Finance, and we fetched sector classifications for each stock to compare how well our clusters align with traditional industries. We visualized, excuse me, I already talked about that. Finally, we identified anomalies, stocks that did not align with their expected cluster. These insights can help investors spot market inefficiencies or mispriced assets. Um, we also created a risk versus return scatter plot showing how each cluster performed in terms of volatility and returns. So in summary, this project demonstrated um, how unsupervised learning can be used to find patterns in financial markets. We successfully clustered stocks and analyzed sector alignments and covered investment opportunities. This method can be a powerful tool for investors and portfolio managers. So I'm going to run through the code real quick. Up top here, of course, we just have all of our imports that were needed. And then we connected to WRDS to fetch the data, which we did from CRSP. And then we determined the optimal capital clusters using the elbow method. Uh, or sector data from Yahoo Finance. And expertise, and maybe step seven, documented anomalies. Um, so yeah, it was overall a great week. I'll run my code for you, but it doesn't seem to want to be working. But either way, it was a good week where I learned clustering analysis, specifically K means clustering, uh, using stock return volatility, average trading volume, and market capitalization. We also implemented standard scalar, K means clustering, and the elbow method. Additionally, principal component analysis was applied to reduce dimensionality. As you can see, here's our output from the elbow main K means clustering. And using Yahoo Finance, we retrieved subject sector classifications. We identified clusters that had high risk adjusted returns and looked at the anomalies and insights that were flagged. So, yeah, in conclusion, this analysis was successfully applied, learning to financial market data, uncovering patterns in stock characteristics and investment behaviors. So, thank you.